How do they do it? Why do they do it? Riding and crashing and riding and winning and always faster and faster.
Welcome back everybody to With Antone MotoGP 2026. And if you're new to the channel, I want to give you a big hello, and we're so glad that you've been able to join us here to talk about MotoGP. This week the question I want to ask is all about a couple of things: Ducati, data, and Pecco Bagnaia, Mr. Go Free. I want to ask, who can Pecco copy and reference this season? And what's going to happen if his performance does not improve? Now this week we saw the launch of the 2026 Lenovo Ducati team, and on the surface it all looks like business as usual. Plenty of smiles, plenty of stability, confidence and continuity. But I think 2026 is actually asking a very uncomfortable question. After finishing 5th last year, was Pecco Bagnaia's problem really race speed? Or was it in that, for the first time, he had no one he could copy or reference in terms of data? Jorge Martin was gone and Marc Márquez arrived into the pit box. But we all know Marc's data you can't copy Marc's data, and suddenly Ducati's most precise, process-driven rider was lost. So today I want to ask a different question. Not who Ducati are building the bike for, but who Pecco Bagnaia will build his comeback and new confidence from. Pecco in 2025, his problem wasn't talent, it was isolation. Because when you start to look closely at the 2026 grid, I don't think Ducati are guessing anymore. Now, why does a reference matter so much to Pecco? Because he's precision-driven, he's process-based, and he's data-dependent. Most riders are. But he performs his best when he can compare that data, adjust and see what their other riders are doing, and then repeat it. And he does that better than anybody. But without that usable reference, his confidence will drop, his risks start to rise, and his results slide. And we saw all those DNFs as well. So why was 2025 failure for Pecco? Well, we talked about it. He lost Jorge Martin. He's the one-lap speed king. He had the same philosophy, the same performance window, and he was the perfect mirror for Pecco to look into. But he gained Marc Márquez. Now you let Marc Márquez into the pit box, you've got a guy who's faster than you, you've got a guy whose data you can't copy, but it shows you the possibilities and it starts to mentally play on your mind. Look, you can admire Marc Márquez's data, I should say, but you can't copy it and you certainly can't ride like that. So really the point of this episode is, what is Ducati doing in 2026? And how are they going to fix Pecco's problems? So Ducati have quietly gone about, as the way they do, restructuring the grid. They've given Alex Márquez on Gresini a full 2026 spec bike, and Gianantonio from VR46 continues on the 2026 bike. Now, what does this create? It creates parallel references for Pecco. It gives known performance windows, and it gives clear, easy to see and comparable points. This is about giving the best possible platform for Pecco. So what is the answer to who Pecco will copy? Well, for me here at With Antone MotoGP 2026, the answer's Alex Márquez. Why do I think it's going to be Alex? Well, because he's smooth and he's repeatable, he's consistent. He has Ducati-friendly inputs, he's not extreme. He extracts performance without chaos, and he is proven across multiple Ducati specification and bike types. Crucially, Ducati has already Alex's full 2025 GP4 data. We know they're going to use the GP4 engine, and they know that Pecco and the 24 blend very well. So question, you guys, did Ducati give Alex a 2026 bike for Alex, or did they give it to him for Pecco? Now, Digia's role, which is really the secondary reference, provides confirmation of what they're getting back, some alternate lines or ideas on data, and also lets and compares cross-checking so we can see the extremes. It's useful, but it's not going to be the blueprint for Ducati and Pecco. Alex Márquez, I should say, is the reference, and Digia will become the validator of that data. Now, why Marc still doesn't solve Pecco's problems? Marc is there to win for Ducati. He's not there to help Pecco rebuild. His data defines the absolute maximum ceiling. That's why Gigi Dall'Igna loves him. And Alex's data, though, will provide a pathway for Pecco. So Marc will show what is possible, the extremes, but Alex will show how to get there. Now, what other help are Ducati giving Pecco this year? Well, Cristian Gabbirini. You know, he's got championship DNA. He's worked with Casey Stoner. He's worked with Jorge Lorenzo, and he's been guiding Pecco for the past couple of seasons. Now, it's funny we bring up Casey Stoner because will Pecco go back and talk to Casey again as a rider coach? Ducati has used Stoner before and helped Pecco reset. We saw that famously before he went off to Motegi. But that only happened when his confidence was shaken. So I want to ask carefully, do you bring Casey Stoner in when things are comfortable? No, you don't. Now, Gabbirini will continue to build Pecco's confidence, try to strengthen his best parts of his riding, but he also will be there to help manage any damage and help the recovery process. That's a big distinction, and it's a big thing that Gabbirini is bringing. So the deeper meaning behind this type of support. So for 2026, it's going to look like loyalty, but in reality, it's Ducati's due diligence. Ducati is seeking to do a couple of things. One, they want all the bike excuses removed. It's not this, it's not that. They don't want any gaps in the data, and they don't want any structural chaos. They want to create clarity. Just remember this, Ducati just can't drop Pecco. He is the modern day Ducati success story. So they can't change, they can't expand without having an explanation and solid reasons. So for 2027, what is going to be the consequence? If it's success, the Pecco era continues, there's no problems. But if there's a continuation of 2025 and Pecco fails, then Ducati can do what they need to. They will gain justification, freedom to make that change, and protection from any outside noise. If Ducati makes a change to their team for 2027, it won't be ruthless. It will be after they could do absolutely no more. And 2026 will answer one question. Is Pecco part of the future, and will he be on the red bike in 2027? Final thoughts as we end this one. 2026, Pecco Bagnaia will be his most supported season and the one with the least excuses. Ducati do not want a repeat of 25 where Pecco has looked like he was not supported. So I want to finish up with a couple of questions for you guys. Now, is Ducati helping Pecco win again or preparing to move him on? Look, 2026 isn't about Ducati choosing sides. Maybe it's about Ducati doing everything possible, giving Pecco the right references, the right data, and the right environment so there's zero doubts. Because if it can work, fantastic, the era continues, Pecco stays part of the family. But if it does not work, then 2020 decisions become very clear. So listen, drop your comments down below. If you've enjoyed today's episode, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, why don't you drop us a subscription? We're going to be dropping 2 episodes on MotoGP content every week throughout the entire season. And I'm looking forward to engaging with all you guys across the season as it folds out. All right, I hope you've enjoyed today. Bye for now.